Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles, minister and hypnotist, and welcome to Power Talk, my video blog where I cover topics that interest me, focusing on how you can use the power of your mind to take control of your life. If you want to know more about my professional work or sign up for my free Substack newsletter, Power Lines, check out my website, which I'll tag in the description. If there is something in your life that you feel is out of control, using hypnosis can turn that around. Now, I'm something of a nut about efficiency. I really like the idea of working smarter rather than harder. Now, as I look at the arc of my life, I suspect that as a child I had attention deficit disorder. If I did, it was never evaluated or diagnosed, as that simply wasn't done back then, but I recall things that are characteristic of the stories of people with childhood ADD. Forgetting to do things, having my messy desk dumped out in front of the entire class in grade school, difficulty focusing on complex material, and so on. Back then, if you had these issues, it was assumed that you were lazy or stupid. We didn't realize that this was a brain chemistry issue and that one cannot overcome it by simple act of will. Complicating all of this is the fact that I am by temperament a strong introvert. That means I keep my primary attention on my favorite world, which for an introvert is the interior world of thoughts and feelings. Well, it wasn't understood back then, but is now. Once a teacher says, "Class participation counts for a third of your grade," introverts and extroverts are no longer on a level playing field. The educational system gives extroverted people a huge head start and lots of extra credit, until one gets to college, assuming one can find a way to do that. If you know me as an adult, you would probably never realize that I had this struggle as part of my story. Because once I got into college, everything changed. Class participation didn't count for zip. The professors didn't care if you even showed up. What was counted was your test scores and term papers. With the deck no longer stacked against people like me, I was able to think about myself and style, and realized that I could do well, but I had to overcome that disorganization. And I solved that problem in the same way I would solve a lot of problems in my life. I went to the library. In the library, I found that there were books on memorization strategies, effective note-taking, speed reading, and more. I found systems for organizing projects and tasks. Implementing those, I discovered they worked, and I became a highly organized person because it allowed me to overcome a lot of the problems that I had. Now, I have no idea if I would be diagnosed with attention deficit disorder now. I suspect not, because those coping strategies I learned as a young adult worked so well for me, they became my default. I know how I study. I know the best circumstance for me to read with retention. I know how to keep track of responsibilities. And I know to trust my system instead of trying to keep things in my head. And I would go on to place on the dean's list, graduate magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa, and then go on to take my doctorate with highest distinction and 2 academic prizes. Now, I recount that not to brag, but to illustrate that one can almost completely overcome problems like I had if you can find a way to hack them, to develop a way of maximizing your skills while minimizing your deficits. And regrettably, this is something we still don't teach young people. Because I found that figuring out how to hack my limitations was so effective for me, I've always been on the lookout for ways to up my game and to help others do the same. Recently, I came upon some new research which I find really suggestive about how we can all be more effective. Now, I'm sure you've encountered people who never seem rushed, yet who always get everything done on time. They get to the gym, they take time for devotional reading and meditation. They spend enormous amounts of time in their kitchen making fantastic meals, but they never miss a meeting. Their projects are always on time. They never miss a deliverable. Their relationships are in good shape. Well, how the heck do they do that when they have no more hours in the day than you and I have? Well, someone has at least come up with a theory about how they do that. You see, while these people are taking time away from work to chill with their significant other, to cook scratch meals, to work out at the gym, they're actually also protecting their brain so that when they need it, it operates at peak efficiency. The famous hypnotist, Dr. Milton Erickson, taught his students about something that would come to be called ultradian rhythms. One student, Dr. Ernest Rossi, formalized this for hypnotists, but it's a useful insight for anything. The idea is that the human brain doesn't work on the all or none principle. Instead, it operates on a 90-minute cycle of activity, typically followed by 20 minutes of recovery. This means that if you are in the productivity groove, you're only going to be there for about 90 minutes max. And when that time is over, you need to chill and turn your attention to something fun to regenerate. If you just try to keep pushing through, what happens is your effectiveness plummets. You may still be at your desk, but you're not accomplishing much. So the people who take breaks, who take time out, actually end up being more efficient than those who don't. And their lives are in better shape because they have all of this other fun stuff that they're doing. And people who are both efficient and relaxed get this. They work when they are at their sharpest, but then stop. They change the channel and let the brain restore itself to peak efficiency. So they cook, they read a novel, they chill with their significant other, and so on. Otherwise, their brains get stuck in the productivity mode and they find themselves mentally exhausted, unproductively just going through the motions. So that is what I recommend to you. Take breaks. Turn your productivity brain off at the end of the day to let that organ repair itself from the stress of the day. Then you can hit the ground running on the next morning. That's the secret. The most efficient people, the most productive people, are not the ones who work all the time. The most efficient people are the folks who lean into their natural rhythm and work when they are sharp and then rest in order to protect the most important instrument in their world, their mind. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, It helps me a lot if you tell others about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You are welcome to subscribe to my Substack using the buttons that you'll find on this post or on my website. If you're wondering if I can be of help to you, consider working directly with me. Feel free to reach out through my website for a free, no-obligation meet and greet call, and we'll talk about it. Have a great week.